Welcome to Obscured Reality with Mark and Stephanie. From UFO sightings to the lost city of Atlantis, from alien encounters to the living dead, each episode will leave you questioning reality. If you're ready to explore the eerie, tune in to Obscured Reality, where mysteries come alive.
Welcome back to Obscured Reality. Stevie, Mark, back at you again. Tonight, we are going to be talking about former United States President Dwight D. Eisenhower.
Okay.
Stevie, do you know anything about this guy?
Eisenhower is the reason why we have the national highway system.
The what?
Eisenhower is the reason why we have the national highway system.
Oh,
yes.
okay.
The highway system was originally used as emergency routes for not only military personnel, but for to escape civilians from, say, if there was a disaster. So, but also
I think he may be responsible for the extraterrestrial highway system as well. Did you know that?
Well, it looks like highways is just his fucking calling card.
Well, we're going to find out. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if y'all out there knew, but President Dwight Eisenhower allegedly had 3 secret meetings with aliens from another planet. Ooh. Have you heard about this?
I have not. This is great. Just hit me with this. This is lovely.
Yeah. Well, one of these is a pretty famous case, and I have heard of one of them. Mm-hmm. The others, I can't say I've ever heard. There's 3. But there is one, and I mentioned it to you recently as well. We didn't really go into any details of, might not even sound familiar, but he supposedly met the extraterrestrials at Holloman Air Force Base, which is in New Mexico, and this happened allegedly in 1954. So he, Eisenhower, and other FBI officials, they are said to have organized the showdown with the space creatures by sending out telepathic messages. So some of this is news to me. I've not quite heard some of this yet, but yeah, well, I mean,
that's all I can imagine. Yeah. Sorry.
Hey, people can laugh at this stuff, and that's great. But here's the thing: the government studied this stuff in the past. Remote viewing, telepathy.
Oh, yeah.
They tried to control people by loading them up on nasty drugs and ruining lives and killing people over it. They've studied this stuff, and they've studied it for a reason. So the 2 parties, that would be us and them, finally met up on 3 separate occasions at Holloman Air Force Base. So I believe one of these main ones that probably most of you out there have heard with Eisenhower meeting aliens at Holloman was he had gone allegedly on a little trip, a little outing, and disappeared in the middle of the night. And I don't know. The whole thing was weird, but allegedly this is where he went, was Holloman Air Force Base. So I don't know where he was. You know what else is interesting? It's near Alamogordo. Alamogordo comes up a lot with UFO alien topics, and it's also right there at White Sands Missile Range, so huge military land. Mm-hmm. Let's pull up a map. Let's take a look real quick. I got the map up.
Wonderful.
Let's take a look, guys. Here is where Holloman Air Force Base. Let me know when you can see that, Stevie. All right. So there's Holloman Air Force Base. You see it in the little red circle there. Mm. And there is White Sands Missile Range. Huge.
Wow.
And yeah, and there's Alamogordo right there to the right.
Is White Sands Missile Range the white around it or the purple around it?
All the gray.
Holy shit.
All the gray.
That's White Sands Missile Range?
Where it says, Yep.
I mean, it makes sense.
So
missiles.
Yeah, and we've had a lot of stories come up surrounding Alamogordo, I believe, as well. So
wow, people live close to that. I wonder what it's like to live there.
Yeah, just give you an idea where it's at there. So, conspiracy theorists have circulated increased rumors in recent months that the meeting between the commander-in-chief and people from another planet took place, but the claims from Mr. Timothy Good, who is a former U.S. Congress and Pentagon consultant, are the first to be made publicly by a prominent academic. He said that governments around the world have been in regular contact with aliens for many decades. He also added that there were many witnesses. Well, of course. I mean, if this happened, the president went there. There's Secret Service, there's military, you know. Eisenhower, who was president from 53 to 61, he's known to have had a strong belief in life on other planets. The former 5-star general in the United States Army who commanded the Allied forces in Europe during the Second World War was also keen on pushing the U.S. space program. His meeting with the cosmic life forms is said to have taken place while officials were told that he was on vacation in Palm Springs, California in 1954. Okay, so I had mentioned this before that I thought it was Palm Springs. Turns out, obviously, it was. So he went to Palm Springs on vacation, and then just, you know, one night he was not there. Yeah.
Fuck off.
Maybe a little Janet flight over to New Mexico, or you know, I mean,
it's not that hard sitting, like, just hop her over. It's, you know.
Well, yeah, but here's the thing, like, if there's no way everybody that went to Palm Springs with him, like, you know, there's a humongous entourage that's going to go, and they're going to go beforehand. They're going to scope everything out. Wherever he's staying, they're going to go scope all that out. It's what they do before they even arrive.
That's
right?
very true.
So
yep.
let's say, you know, I don't know if he really did arrive in Palm Springs or not, but if he did, which he most likely did to put up the guise that he's there, well, how the hell does he just sneak away? Like, what aircraft does he use? Because they can't just take Air Force One, right? They're going to have security there watching that.
I would assume that he would probably just take, like, a cargo, like, sit in a hopper seat with, you know, the rest of, like, his entourage and other hoppers. Like, that's the most, like, inconspicuous that you can go. But, I don't know. See, back then, I feel like it was a lot different, because when Trump came to South Bend, like, they definitely sent in people prior. And it was interesting because, like, working at the front desk of a rental car place in the airport, like, I saw all of them come in. And it's just like, it was interesting meeting them, because they're most average ass looking motherfuckers. You would never know that they're there. But they come in full force. But it was very interesting to see Air Force One.
Oh, yeah.
We weren't allowed to be at work that day.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, yeah.
Exactly.
It was just really interesting to Secret Service. Like, you would never fucking know. So, I mean, I can see how very easily they could, like, scope an area out and go. But I feel like this was also a different, like, era where, I don't know, maybe there weren't as many threats. So maybe they didn't have to be so inconspicuous about it, but it's the president. And he can do whatever the fuck he wants.
If they think he's there in Palm Springs and only certain people know he's going to leave, like, people are going to have to know he's going to leave.
Yeah, but
then as long as they can control that, then he could essentially take whatever.
It's a need to know type of situation
they want, and no one's going to know.
Yeah, it's a need to know situation, and a lot of people just don't need to know.
Yep. Well, the initial meeting, so the first meeting was supposed to have taken place with aliens who were Nordic in appearance, but the agreement was eventually signed with a race called Alien Greys. So
Nordic?
we hear in
what the fuck is that supposed to be, like, dreads and fucking Viking helmets? What?
In the history of aliens, Nordics come up a lot. We'll let's just pull up pictures of Nordics here. Yeah, they do. So
because this is the first time I've heard this term.
Yeah. This is the first time you've heard it?
Yeah. I've heard of Greys.
Serious?
Yeah, never heard of Nordics.
Well,
that's why I was like, what the fuck?
Let me share my screen with you here.
Teach me something.
Here's kind of like what we're looking at with Nordics, and more like this one kind of in the middle top.
Okay, go over to the one that looks like it's the fucking evil guy from the first Captain America. Like, that's terrifying to me.
Yeah, so, well, it's mainly like this picture in the middle, kind of the blue background, the guy in the white clothing.
Very angelic.
Maybe these ones right here in the blue.
Okay, I see.
These ones here. So that's kind of what they've always been generalized as.
What in the fuck is this, like, Hellraiser looking thing over here? Go back, scroll back up. Jesus Christ, I'm so sorry.
I don't know. That's not... I don't know.
Yeah,
the ones with the white clothing, the white hairs, the very white skin, those are your typical Nordics.
Gotcha.
That people reference when it comes to Nordic aliens. So what they are, who they are, who the hell knows? But yeah. So Mr. Good added, Timothy Good, quote, "We know that up to 90% of all UFO reports can be explained in conventional terms. However, I would say millions of people worldwide have actually seen the real thing." So he's saying most of the cases, are, he's not saying hoaxes, but I'm saying hoaxes, or like he said, explain in conventional terms, which could be hoaxes. But he is saying he fully believes there's millions of people worldwide that have seen the real thing. So, I would assume he's looked into the history and is of the mindset that, there's something going on,
Yeah.
So according to classified documents released by the Ministry of Defense in 2010, Winston Churchill may have ordered a UFO sighting to be kept secret. The UFO was seen over the east coast of England by an RAF reconnaissance plane returning from a mission in France or Germany towards the end of the war. Churchill is said to have discussed how to deal with UFO sightings with Eisenhower. Now, I mean, that's a common theme.
That does not surprise me.
It's not just one government.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not just one government that's in possession of this technology. It's not just one government that's had contact. It's multiple in their inclusion. Yeah, and now it's not that the full government's in collusion with other governments on the issue if this whole thing is real, which it's very slowly beginning to look like it's all adding up. It's that you have your secret government within the government that's running all this nasty black project crap
behind the scenes.
And they're the ones who are in collusion with similar groups of other governments. However, there may be other governments where it's, it's probably full, think about Russia, Putin, right? They aren't going to hide a secret government group from him. If he finds out there's even a trace of that, he's going to start whacking people.
Dude, he was part of the secret government group. He's ex-KGB or fucking whatever.
Well, I'm just saying there's certain governments where, I'm sure if this is really going on, then I'm sure the full government's aware, or the actual president of those countries. But either way, in America, the way it seems around Eisenhower's time, maybe after Eisenhower's time, is kind of when it went black. And where'd everything go?
It's very onion-like. I think our government is very much an onion. There's layers and layers.
Well, it's yes and no. Yes, you're right, but I don't think this counts as one of those onions with America. The reason why is because nowadays, look, we know this whole UAP thing is real, right? We know shit's going on. It's happening. You can't deny it anymore. It's happening. It's very clear the government is hiding something now. They're pushing back big time on this stuff. Rather than they could just come out and say,
they really should.
David Grush is full of crap. This person's full of crap. This person's full of crap. No, blah, blah, blah. Yes, we've looked into UFOs. We found that they could have done all this.
But they're haven't.
Not doing it. Nope. And they're fighting back very, very hard. Okay. So you talk about an onion. Yes, the government has different layers, right? Of course. But this isn't part of that onion. This is a completely separate onion hiding inside this other onion that nobody knows about. That's what it is. This isn't your typical black project that's being hidden. This is your black project that you, the main people in the government, the president, don't have a clue about. This is something where you have a subset of people who do have some control and have their tentacles out there, and they have people in places that can kind of control some things, but they don't follow the same guidelines. They don't follow the rules. They break the laws all the time. Half the shit they're doing right now with this whole UAP thing is illegal. And, you know, I don't see them as, I get what you're saying. Yeah. I don't see them as part of the onion. They are not a layer of that particular onion. You know, there's no control. There's no oversight. Congress doesn't have oversight. They allegedly don't even know about it. Well, allegedly, they don't know about it. Mm-hmm. This is why it's such a big issue now, because they're saying there's something to it. We need to figure out what's going on. Think Majestic 12, magic. Another term that's been used is magi, whatever. There's about supposedly now, I think I heard the other day, they believe there may be around 30 people that are part of that. And this isn't a group that the real government knows about. So they're not part of the onion. They're operating within for the control and all that stuff and power, be able to do certain things and get money. But ultimately, nobody knows that that's what the money is really going towards. Nobody knows that that's actually what they're doing. It's all, you know, side businesses, things like that, companies, groups, corporations, whatever within. They're sending money to, think about this. The biggest thing right now with this, one of the biggest things, is that places like Lockheed Martin, Boeing, some other places have this alleged alien technology. He crashed or downed UFOs, right?
We have AM General in the town over from us.
If all this is true, the president doesn't know about that. The main people don't know about that. The Congress, they don't know about that, and they're the ones who are supposed to have the oversight. So they're sending a crap ton of money to these groups, these companies like Lockheed Martin, for what they think is their normal stuff. And a lot of it's black project, right? They're working on super secret aircraft and all this stuff. Great. Yeah. Fine. Totally get that. But they're just inflating those numbers to get more money, and they're taking huge chunks of that, and that's going towards this other stuff that even the main government has no clue about. You know, so it kind of sucks, and one of, you know, many reasons why everyone's all pissed off about it, especially Congress, because they should know about it. You know, they should have the clearance to know about this. Mm-hmm. They're there for you. They're there for me. They're there to make sure that things are going according to plan for their particular constituents, right? Their states, their groups, right? Mm-hmm. And all that stuff. And they don't have any clue on it. So now your tax dollars, we're talking a ridiculous sum of money, is just gone. I mean, the governments can't account for, in the last however many years, I think it's been 3 to 5 years, like billions of dollars missing.
Surprise, surprise.
Yeah. And it's not missing like, oh, it went to black projects. No, it went to black projects, and then shit was skimmed off the top from there, you know. Where to go? So, yeah, that's just a brief story about Dwight D. Eisenhower and his alleged contact with UFOs. I've only heard of the one where he went to Palm Springs and then went to Holloman. You know, I mean, 1954, you know, we're talking Roswell's not too far off from there. Do you know the Roswell date? No.
I believe it was the late 50s, though.
Right. We are looking at, 47. 1947. Okay. So here's the thing. You got to look at the history of the topic, right? So you look at Eisenhower allegedly meets with aliens at an Air Force base, and most people are, give me a break, right?
Yeah.
But when you start looking at the history of this, everything, and you pick it apart and you start looking at everything that seems credible, everything starts aligning. 1947, UFO in Roswell, we know that's one of the biggest things of our time. An alleged UFO craft where this head guy comes out and says that it's a UFO, it's not from here, and the next day, weather balloon.
Yep.
Complete BS. Regardless, is complete BS, right? And now you have just a few years later, Eisenhower allegedly is meeting with aliens. Like, the time frames add up, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So you can't deny certain things. You can deny that it's alien, but you can't deny that something's happening, you know, and you can't deny that a lot of this is adding up. So I don't know. What do you think about Eisenhower in our little short story tonight?
I believe it. I can believe it. I mean, maybe it's the fact that I watched National Treasure when I was a kid, and like the Book of Secrets and the president's book that they all write like secret to the next president. I don't know. Just because like the concept and the idea of something like that existing has been put into my head because of that movie. I'm like, yeah, totally could see that, accept it, and like, I don't know. Maybe it is knowledge that's passed on from one president to another, or maybe it's knowledge that's passed on from one like cabinet to another, where they're just like, does this one actually need to know about this, or should they not know about this?
Yeah.
like you were saying, other people like have the knowledge. So yeah, I'm totally down for that. I could totally believe it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me in the least bit.
Fact is, something's going on. Yeah. Something's going on. What is it?
Been going
That's
on.
what we got to find out. Given that the government's pushing back ridiculously hard with Congress, they're kind of just confirming, you know. So it's getting down to it. Here's what I'd like to see. I'd like to see a new president come in. When they come in, I'm saying because Biden wouldn't be able to handle any of this. Start talking with Congress and like, look, what the hell's going on with the UFO thing? Here's what I'd like to see. I'd like to see a new president with some balls, gather up a Secret Service, go grab a big group of military or ex-military SEALs, things like that, get the assets together, because he could hop on Air Force One, grab a couple, 4, 5, 6 of our fighter jets, our top-notch ones, grab some Blackhawks, bringing personnel and weapons, fly straight into Area 51, let the control tower know before they cross into the Nellis whole, you know, government land. Hey, we're coming. Don't shoot, because if you do, you're going to kill the president, and we're going to fire back. You don't have a choice. You get Humvee columns coming in at every main entrance to come in on the ground. You go in there, you land. President hops out, hops in one of the Blackhawks. Blackhawks go fly over to Papoose Lake, where Bob Lazar allegedly worked, S4. Hop over to Papoose Lake. They go look around, test around. You know, they have stuff. They have equipment they can mount to the bottom of these helicopters to look underground, to get a display of anomalies underground and see if these hangars are there.
LiDAR radar.
Then go search the hell out of Area 51 and force their way in and say, we're doing it. You know, that's what I'd like to see happen. I hate to say it. I really do. Like, we shouldn't be at this point, but we are. That's what I want to see happen.
It would be very interesting to watch government force upon government, like themselves. Like, hey, ourselves, we're coming. Don't do anything. It's just like very interesting. Like the whole concept of this same government just opposing orders. Yeah. How it would play out in my mind is 50-50 right now. Half of me is like, I think that they would be like, you're right, that's the president. But at the same time, I feel like they'd be like, well, orders are orders, pop, pop. So.
Oh, they won't have enough personnel.
I know, they'd be run over so fast.
I'm talking, you're talking Air Force One going in with the president on board, Secret Service, and here's the other thing they do. Some of these Blackhawks, when they fly in, they live stream it. They have a constant video from one of the Blackhawks on Air Force One and surrounding the whole surrounding area on the flight in. That way, cool. Boom. He can get the airtime immediately.
Yeah.
They can contact news channels and say, look, start broadcasting this. Do it now. This is going to be the biggest thing ever. Trust me. President's involved. They're going to do it. They live stream the whole goddamn thing. They can create their own internet up there, even if there's stuff at Area 51 or within that whole Nellis or the Nevada test site that's jamming signals and stuff. I wouldn't doubt in certain areas. They can create their own and knock that shit out. Go do that. Live stream it. And when you call it into the control tower before you hit the border, let them know.
Jesus.
If you do decide to shoot, fire, anything, we're live streaming and turn on the news. America's watching.
Dude, the fucking scene playing through my head as you're saying this is just like intense.
Yeah. Well, I mean, how else are you going to do this? These sites didn't disappear, right?
Yeah.
So if Bob Lazar's not lying, if S4 is real, even if they no longer use, say, S4 in these 9 hangars, right? Let's say they have moved these UFOs to Wright-Patterson, which is what's alleged here and there. And let's say they've gone in these underground hangars and demolished them and everything inside and just filled it in with rubble and maybe even put some more rubble on the top on the outside so nobody ever really finds these hangar doors or anything, right?
Right.
You're still going to see those anomalies when you scan that with the sonar.
Yeah.
They do this. They've done this at Skinwalker. They have an idea of a shaped object that's underground that looks like a disc, very large disc-shaped object in the mesa at Skinwalker Ranch. They can mount the shit to the helicopters and do this. They fly over. You will see those anomalies from those 9 hangars. Even if they're filled in, it's going to look different than the natural underground surrounding.
Now that
what's that?
It's completely out, right? Like I can watch a whole season. Yeah. Okay, great. That was
there's 3 or 4 seasons.
Great, good, because
the next one's starting, I think, in January or February.
Perfect.
I want to say
because once I get lost into a show, if I only have one season, I get really kind of pissed off about it because I can go through seasons quickly. So
yeah, start it from beginning. Yeah. Don't skip any. And even if you say don't like the first one or something, you're like, I'm not too interested. Just force yourself and get through at least 3. I don't think you'll have an issue, but the thing is there's stuff, it's so sporadic that's really interesting that's coming up that they're finding. And this guy, Brendan Fugel, the owner of Skinwalker, he has come out and publicly said, I am funding this 100% by myself.
Yeah.
I'm not taking any money from the TV station for the show. I told them that's part of the agreement. I don't want crap from them because I want people to believe me. And he goes, there are certain things they'll pay for. There might be a group or 2 that comes in or whatever, and they'll pay for something here and there. He goes, but we're not taking money for them. I'm funding the majority of this. Like, this is real, and that's it, So,
cool.
Yeah.
Good.
I don't know. Dwight D. Eisenhower, I believe he went to Palm Springs. Did he go to Holloman? The way things are adding up over the decades, I wouldn't be shocked if this came out to be true. It adds up with the timeline. Obviously you can't say definitively yes, but I can definitively say probably. I reject your reality and will insert my own reality.
I agree.
Yeah. You fools out there, let us know what you think. Like, share, subscribe, comment. What do you think about this story? I know many of you have heard this, at least one of them, the Palm Springs one. It's pretty popular. Let us know what you think. Also, if you have an obscure story of your own, shoot us an email at obscured1@gmail.com. Type story in the subject line and tell us your story in the body. We will share it for you on air anonymously. If you want to be on the show, you can do that. You only need a computer and Chrome to do that. And you can come on anonymously or not, video or not, and tell your own story. And we can talk, have a good time, have a drink or two, something. And hit the bell too.
Yes.
You could do the bell.
Hit the bell so that you get the notification every Friday at 5 Pacific, 8 Eastern of a new episode dropping. Sometimes we'll give you a little surprise during the week. So, of course, you want to be notified of that. So, of course, hit that bell. It helps us. Every little bit really does help. So, share the love.
Bling, bling. All right. With that note, guys, we're out of here. Peace.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to check back with us often for new episodes. Feel free to drop a comment, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Obscured Reality.